Hello peoples! In today's video, we're going to go poke the hornet's nest with a stick. In case you haven't noticed, the Spectrum forums have been ablaze over the Ion drama, so I thought I would take a look to see if this ship is as nerfed as everyone seems to think it is. Did it get nerfed hard? Well, yeah, it did. Will it stay that way? Probably not. Is it worth using? Stick around and find out. As always, if you like and enjoy the content, then please hit that like button, notification bell, and subscribe to the channel, as it will be greatly appreciated. Don't forget the referral code. You get 5,000 free UEC if you use it when you open up a new account. So, you know what's next. Time for a snack. I suggest popcorn. I'm going to go with a Coke. Sit back, relax, and let's get to it. Okay, looking at Urkel. Understand one thing, we have one weapon. It's a size 7 laser cannon, supposed to be big, supposed to hit hard. Notice our ammunition speed or projectile speed, 700 meters per second. That's what a cannon speed should be. I don't have any problem with that. Next part is, look at our alpha damage, 2100. Look at the fire rate, 110 rounds per minute. That's more like a repeater, less like a cannon. Alpha damage is meh at best. The range is 2,800 meters. That would be great if you could actually hit something at 2,800 meters, which you're going to see in the video. Kind of hard to hit things at 2,800 meters. Now remember, this was originally marketed as a long-range, high-alpha damage sniper ship, right? That's what it was originally marketed as. CIG pulled out the Nerf bat and completely changed this. Now hopefully they'll change it back. You're going to see why I think they should change it back coming up here right now. Okay, so we're in a Nine Tails mission. We're going to go after NPC targets. NPC targets are brain dead. So in this case, we're going after a Mustang Delta. Pretty maneuverable ship. But despite the fact that it's a maneuverable ship and small, as soon as it gets within 700 meters or so, because it's flying straight and level, I'm able to nail it with a size 7 gun. It's going to melt you. If you fly straight and level, it's going to delete you. But here, notice this. I am less than 200 meters out. I'm hitting with some of my shots, but I'm missing with a whole bunch of others. Look at all those other shots that are being missed right now. There's no reason for this. I am within 200 meters of the target. I should be able to nail it because it's flying straight and level. I eventually do get it, but my point is that I shouldn't have missed with any of those. Definitely not the long-range, accurate sniper ship we were led to believe. So here's another example. I'm going after a Valkyrie, again, flying nice, straight, and level, and my rounds really start to connect right around 900 meters or so, and I'm able to easily destroy that target as well, because again, it is a size 7 gun. So we transition, we go right after another Mustang Delta. Notice a theme here, flying straight and level. No evasive maneuvers whatsoever. And it gets melted very quickly. Again though, less than 1,000 meters up. We transition over into a Cutlass Black. This is going to take even less shots because Cutlass Black is kind of squishy when it comes to this. A couple of well-placed shots and it goes down. So now let's see how we do against a larger target, something like a Hammerhead. So here you're going to see that I am quite easily able to engage and place my rounds wherever I want on this Hammerhead. I am within 400 meters of the target. Notice that my target crosshairs and my lag pip that I'm using are moving in a nice, straight, smooth line. I have no problem tagging any point on this target. If I want to hit it in the engine, I can hit it in the engine. If I want to hit a turret, I can hit a turret, and I can put the fire there consistently. Now, of course, the Hammerhead is doing a little bit of an evasive maneuver, which is more than some of the other brain-dead NPC targets that we had earlier were doing. But I still have no problem with the maneuverability of the Ion and the, let's say, less than stellar accuracy of the laser cannon at putting the rounds where I want. And of course, no problem taking out the Hammerhead. Now the next target is going to be a PvP target during Jump Town. So here we go with this Constellation Andromeda. Now, Constellation Andromeda, fairly large ship, not exactly maneuverable. Kind of waddles like a pig if you ask me. The other thing is, this player doesn't want to be hit. So if you notice, they're constantly changing their direction. They're not flying in a nice, straight, level line that would make targeting them pretty easy and hitting them even easier. Notice my rounds. Despite the fact that I'm only 800 meters away, half of my rounds that I'm shooting are missing. That's not because I'm a bad shot. That's because of the nerf accuracy that CIG put on this cannon. You basically have to be within 500 meters to have a consistent hit profile with this weapon. That doesn't make any sense considering what it was originally billed as, a long-range accurate sniper. Now, if you've done any kind of PvP in Star Citizen, you know that there are very few players that do not fly around at almost max speed. They zip by and try to joust you. In order to minimize this, I'm adjusting my speed a lot. I'm trying to get in and stay behind this Connie as much as possible so that, number one, I can keep accurate fire on it, and number two, I'm not going to get hit, because despite the fact that I have some decent shields, this Andromeda has 4 very large guns that in just one pass can do a lot of damage to me. So I don't want that to happen. Despite the fact that I'm trying to maneuver to get into a good firing position, I'm constantly missing. Even when the pip indicator shows that I should be hitting, until I get within 500 meters. Notice that now I'm at 500 less. I'm going down to 200, 250. Now I'm connecting. This is good. But as soon as that range opens up to over, well, basically 500 meters, it starts to become very iffy on whether or not I'm going to hit, despite the fact that my targeting pip shows me that I should have scored a hit. And that's because of the projectile speed. It's 700 meters per second, which means that if you are out past 1,000 meters, even in a ship the size of a Constellation, all it takes is a slight course change, and from the time I pull that trigger to the time that round is supposed to impact you, the ship is no longer in that position. It has changed, and it's been able to move and negate the entire round. The only way that you're going to hit anything past 1,000 meters with a cannon is if that target is virtually stationary. That includes a big ship like the Constellation as a target. This is not a Gladius. We're not talking about a light fighter. We're talking about a large ship, and I still can't hit it despite the fact that it's within 1,000 meters away. That is fundamentally broken in my book, and that should be addressed. Now, I am consistently getting in close, and I am whittling the shields down on this Constellation. So, if you take a look at the shields here, I'm starting to pick it apart. We get some pretty good hits. The cannon does have okay DPS for its size, but the alpha damage is definitely not cannon-like. It's more like an overcharged repeater, in my opinion. So I'm going to continue to just try and chip away and get in close as possible. Now notice that as I close in that distance, the Constellation pilot is also getting an opportunity to fire at me. So I'm losing some of my autonomous range by being able to stand off, which is what this ship is supposedly capable of doing, and hit him at range. Now there are other hostile targets that are taking pot shots at me. As you can see, there's several missile trails there, and I'm having to fire off my countermeasures. That's all part of dogfighting. But I'm going to continue to just pound away on this and pretty much not make a whole lot of headway. Remember, this guy probably has upgraded shields, so I'm having to fight my way through the shields and fight my way through this stupid artificial bad accuracy nerf that's been placed on the gun, so that I am forced to be within literally 500 meters or less of the target. Now I understand if Chris Roberts wants us to see everything up close and personal, but this is supposed to be a space game. As you can see, A lot of my rounds are missing here, and that's due to, in part, of the inaccuracy of the weapon, as well as the maneuverability of the Constellation and the fact that the enemy pilot is doing evasive maneuvers. So for everyone out there that was complaining about how the Ion could one-shot you in a light fighter, my question is real simple. Were you maneuvering when you got a size 7 cannon laser bolt to the face? Or were you flying in a straight line, making it easy for the gunner to target and hit you? Now, if you weren't maneuvering and you take a big round like that into your light fighter, you should get deleted. It's a size 7 gun. It should delete a light fighter, people. Put down your keyboard, stop typing. It should, period. Okay? So, eventually this Connie pilot gets tired and quantums out. I'm not able to totally take him out because half my rounds are going to miss. We get another target later on. This is going to be a Retaliator bomber. Fairly big target. I'd like you to take note of all my cannon rounds. See the big arc that they got? The fact that they're missing and we are at 1,500 meters out. Now look at the Vanguard. See how straight the Vanguard's laser repeater rounds are and the fact that they're hitting the target? That's because of the speed difference between the projectiles. So the cannon rounds, 700 meters per second. Most of the repeaters are like 14 to 1500 meters per second, so no problem hitting this huge target of a Retaliator bomber. Now, once I do get in close, and by close I mean less than 500 meters, I am able to hit the target no problem. Here he decides to quantum out because he's taking some serious damage, and he's already fired off all of his torpedoes. But before he gets away, we're going to punish him a little bit. So my rounds are hitting, and if you have done any type of PvP against a Retaliator, you know how insanely OP they are right now. Extremely tanky. They have more hit points than a Hammerhead. I'd rather go after a Hammerhead than a Retaliator at this point. But he's able to get away. Once again, because of a couple factors, me not being able to connect with all my rounds earlier and having to get within 500 meters to actually drill him, and the fact that, well, basically he fired off his torpedoes and has no other weapons left. Now, it's not all bad. This ship is still probably my favorite ship to use for doing ERT missions because you can kill any large ship with ease as long as it's being flown by an NPC. So Hammerheads, Valkyries, Wardens, no problem. You can even effectively go after Hurricanes, although they are going to kind of frustrate you a little bit. Now, CIG is definitely going to probably swing the pendulum back a little bit more when they rebalance this again, and they said that they are constantly looking at doing it. I'm just a little salty, I guess, in the way that they did this first knee-jerk reaction before the Christmas break. Hopefully they will address this very, very soon, like in the next patch, and at least give back some of the accuracy. That's going to do it for today. Let me know your thoughts on the Ion and if you think CIG hit it too hard with the Nerf bat and what they should do to fix it. Or if you think it's balanced and should be left as is. And as always, until next time, take care.